This is a production of Florida State University.
Hello and welcome to another edition of FSU Headlines, coming to you from the campus of Florida State University. I'm your host, Dennis Schnitker. Thanks for joining me. As Florida State welcomes students, faculty, and staff back to campus this fall, health and safety continue to be among the university's top priorities. FSU launched several initiatives to ensure the continued well-being of the entire community in the age of the coronavirus. Stay Healthy FSU is designed to help prepare the campus community for the new normal amid the pandemic. An online resource trains faculty and staff on how COVID-19 spreads, what symptoms to watch out for, how to prepare with prevention, as well as helpful response strategies. While not intended to replace guidance from medical professionals, the training comes from a variety of trusted public health sources. Florida State has also implemented a daily wellness check to encourage safety and self-awareness. The app allows faculty, staff, and students to track and manage their health by answering a few questions each day about symptoms and contact with others. The FSU community is encouraged to complete their daily wellness check in the My FSU mobile app or portal each day before coming to campus. Testing is a key component of Florida State University's plan to mitigate the spread of coronavirus. Students, faculty, and staff all have access to reliable testing on campus in both Tallahassee and Panama City. I recently visited the main campus test site myself. Here's what I learned. The Tucker Center is home to Seminole basketball, and now it's home to Florida State University's COVID-19 test site for students, faculty, and staff. Let's see how it works. FSU College of Medicine Associate Dean Dr. Jim Zedeker oversees the test site. Dr. Zedeker, good to see you.
Dennis, it's good to see you.
What's the first stop when you come to the test center?
So the first stop is actually going to the University Health Services website. That's at uhs.fsu.edu. Going to register for the test. That actually makes the process a little bit more seamless.
Tell us what to expect when someone arrives here at the Tucker Center to take their test, and what do they need to bring with them?
So when a student arrives to the Tucker Center, what they need to do is actually bring a form of identification. That could be a state driver's license, military ID, or even their FSU ID. When they arrive, they actually just come in through an identified entrance. Once they come there, they come into our first station, which is the registration table, and that's where we verify that they had registered for the test prior to arriving. What they do next is they move on to what we call the pickup station. That's where a prepackaged test is actually prepared for them. It's got the student's name, and then following that, then they move into the testing station.
You're going to follow the gold arrows, go down to station D.
At the testing station, they go through one of 4 different sites. We have a healthcare provider. They'll walk the students through a self-swabbing process. Actually very comfortable. The swab just goes into just inside the nose. We guide them through that process, packaging up their specimen, and then dropping it off at a collection point. If you're registered, it's simply an issue of walking in, showing your ID, picking up your collection tube, going through the testing station, dropping it off at the drop-off point or the collection point, and then exiting the building. And in most cases, we can probably get them out in about 5 or 6 minutes.
Have a great day, okay?
So it's quick, it's easy, and it's painless. If you're a current student, faculty, or staff member, and you haven't taken a COVID-19 test here on the Florida State campus, you can schedule your appointment today by visiting the University Health Services website. Remember, we're all in this together. Do your part and stay healthy, FSU. And as you just heard, Florida State University is returning those COVID-19 test results in 24 hours or less, thanks to its partnership with Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare. Here's an inside look at Florida State's new on-campus test analysis lab.
This is the FSU TMH Rapid Response Laboratory, and this is where specimens are received, genomes are isolated, and those genomes are analyzed for the presence of the SARS-CoV-2 viral genome. The testing procedure here is really just an adaptation of something that we use frequently in the research lab. So we thought if we applied our research laboratory mentality to this clinical test, that we could create a test that did not suffer from the ebbs and flows of reagent availability. when the patient sample arrives in the lab, that patient sample, a swab in viral transfer media, contains both patient cells and, if the patient is infected, the SARS-CoV-2 virus. So the first step is to take everything that's in that swab, the human cells and potential viral particles, and get the genomes of everything. Once we have the genomes of everything that is in that swab, we can test that material, that genetic material, for the presence of the SARS-CoV-2 genome itself. We are doing things that Boston, Massachusetts, Palo Alto, California, Cambridge, UK are doing. We're doing very big things in this lab. The throughput and the quality of the results are world-class. This is state-of-the-art, and I'm incredibly proud of that. To have developed a system that is not susceptible to the demands of different reagents that other places are suffering from will make this facility churn out results in perpetuity. In the first week, this was an incredibly challenging effort. We started from ground zero. We learned what the data looked like. We learned what to expect from the swabs. We learned how our purification protocols worked. And in about a short 7 days, we stabilized our process to where, yes, doing 1,000 tests a day would not be a problem right now.
To learn more about the campus testing, visit the University Health Services website at uhs.fsu.edu. Face-to-face instruction resumed on the campus of Florida State University in August for the first time since the start of the pandemic. Here's how Florida State and its students are working together to keep the coronavirus out of the classroom.
Hi, I'm Jay Willoughby with Florida State University Classroom Support Services.
And I'm Arnell Bacani with Florida State University Facilities. As we begin face-to-face classes, we have cleaned and prepped all of our classrooms for the fall semester.
Whether you are an instructor or a student, here's what you need to know as you return to the classroom.
First, complete your daily wellness check on your MyFSU app before you leave for campus or class.
When you arrive at your classroom building, you must swipe your FSU card in order to enter the building. Our campus buildings will be kept locked this semester for social distancing purposes.
Inside, we've stocked all of our active classrooms with disinfectant spray and towels. When you arrive for class, you'll need to wipe down your desk and chair before you sit down.
Instructors, you'll want to disinfect your area when you arrive in the classroom. We have wipes for the work surfaces, and we have special wipes for electronic equipment. Please also remember to encourage your students to disinfect their areas at the beginning of class.
Remember to practice social distancing. Appropriate seating arrangements have been marked in all of our classrooms. Please sit at least 6 feet away from others.
And of course, everyone needs to wear an appropriate face covering at all times. Eating and drinking is not allowed in classrooms.
So as you can see, we've been working hard to get the campus ready for you, but we need your help.
Do your part and stay healthy, FSU.
Roughly a third of Florida State University's fall courses were offered face-to-face at the start of the semester. The rest are offered via remote instruction as they have since the start of the pandemic. A student-led initiative is asking the local community to sign a pledge to keep Tallahassee healthy. For some added encouragement, Florida State recently participated in a friendly competition with the University of Florida to help spread the word for students to sign the pledge.
Hey, President Thrasher. We're competing against the University of Florida to see how many students can sign a pledge to wear a mask and stay healthy this semester.
So Jonathan, I love competition, but you know one thing, I don't want to lose. Counting on you.
You got it, Mr. President. Students, we need your help. Sign the pledge, beat the Gators, go Noles.
Students, I'm going to need your help, so please sign that pledge and go Noles. Jonathan, which hat do you think President Fox would look better in? This one or the garnet one?
Definitely the garnet one.
I agree. We're going to be sending it to him real quickly.
And coming up next on FSU Headlines, a Florida State University biologist helps identify the highest dwelling mammal on Earth. We'll show you how a mighty mouse might be one of the most impressive mammals around when FSU Headlines continues in a moment.
At Florida State University, we're proving that students from all walks of life can achieve at the highest levels. We're proving that intellect, creativity, service, and daring matter. We're proving the next generation can do more than dream of a better world. They can make it happen. We are Florida State University.
When you buy a Florida State University license plate,
you're not just showing your school spirit.
You're supporting students like us.
In the lab,
in the classroom,
and in the library.
Putting this tag on your vehicle helps Florida State students achieve their dreams. So show your pride. Purchase an FSU license plate today.
Welcome back to FSU Headlines. I'm Dennis Schnitker. Florida State University researchers received a record level of funding in the 2020 fiscal year, bringing in just over $250 million for research projects benefiting a wide range of areas, including research that may even help answer some of the many questions posed by the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. The milestone shows the crucial role research plays in both the state of Florida and throughout the country, supporting thousands of jobs as well as advancing innovation throughout the economy.
Those dollars support the economy, but also these folks are doing really interesting things. So you've got folks down in the Marine Lab that are working on the oysters and the restoration of Apalachicola Bay. That's something that's really going to be helpful. And you look at the folks in social work doing the neat things, important things around mental health, especially in these COVID times. So forget about the money for a minute. Just remember that this is helping a lot of people.
Life for the people of Puerto Rico hasn't been the same since Hurricane Maria devastated the island in 2017. A recent Florida State study shows it won't be the same for decades. Nearly 4 years ago, Hurricane Maria ravaged the island and left catastrophic damage behind. While much of the devastation was apparent after the storm, a new study from Florida State University sociologist Matt Hauer shows that the storm also left long-term impacts on the island's population.
We predicted that the island would lose an additional right around 200,000 more people after the hurricanes in the rather anemic federal response compared to if we would have done the projection beforehand, before the hurricanes hit the island. So it's a rather significant change in the trajectory of the island's population over time.
Professor Hauer hopes these new insights serve as a lesson for future storms and brings more attention to an island still on the mend.
It really speaks to the island needing more attention to help bring those numbers up. It might mean changes in retirement age for individuals on the island. People might have to work for considerably longer than they would have otherwise. And really, it definitely speaks toward more attention that needs to be paid to the island itself.
A Florida State University biologist has helped discover a new record for the highest dwelling mammal, more than 2,000 feet higher than the previous record. The find was announced by the international research team just last year. In one of the harshest environments on Earth, considered by some as the closest thing on our planet to Mars, a small mouse not only survives, but seemingly thrives. A group of mountaineering researchers found the yellow-rumped leaf-eared mouse atop a South American volcano, living at heights greater than any other known mammal has ever lived at before.
This is several thousand feet above the highest plant, so there's like no food. We really don't know what these animals eat. because there's no food, low oxygen, very low temperatures. Certainly at the summit, it almost never rises above freezing. So it's perpetually below freezing. And that's during the day. That's the high temperature for the day is below freezing. And there's intense ultraviolet radiation, which causes a lot of other problems. At the same time, these dark volcanic rocks heat up really hot. So they get hot. The air is below freezing. And so it just produces just huge challenges for these animals. And the lack of food and the cold temperatures and the low oxygen are really the dominant ones.
The mouse was even found above the highest known nests of birds, a record that was set during a 1921 expedition on Mount Everest. Professor Steppens says this astonishing discovery shows to what extremes life is capable of.
A lot of the really extreme environments have not been explored. And I think the suggestion is that maybe we'll start exploring those more. We'll find a lot of other things besides just this species. And it emphasizes again that life will find some form of life will find a way to occur almost everywhere you can imagine on Earth. There's just a resilience to life, and this suggests that we've got more to find.
More research news. Bright spots could be key to securing the future of declining coral reefs. A group of Florida State University marine biologists analyzed over 300 reef sites across the Caribbean, which have been especially vulnerable to overfishing, pollution, and other human activity. However, despite a noticeable loss in live coral, many of the reefs showed an unexpected resilience. The researchers called them bright spots.
The Florida Keys have had a lot of variety of issues on the coral reefs in the last, I'd like to say couple of years, but really couple of decades. And so I think we were very mentally prepared for a certain landscape that we definitely found. Like you said, sort of a moon-like landscape, a lot of algae and very, very little of anything else. But that was very much not the rule of what we saw. And that was what was so striking to us.
Against the odds, the researchers saw numerous bright spots thriving with high fishery value and marine diversity. Understanding how these bright spots thrive could be a key in helping to ensure the future of reefs around the world.
There are outcomes which are still can be positive on reefs which have lost coral. So even in cases where coral has not been conserved or maybe can't be restored, it really pushes, this is towards the avenue of having more research into conservation and management approaches, which might lead to those bright spot outcomes at reefs that have lost coral.
The researchers believe preserving and restoring coral is crucial, but efforts should also focus on better understanding bright spots.
When we think about the future of reefs, one thing that our research suggests is the need to do additional research to better understand what makes some low coral sites a bright spot and what makes others not a bright spot, so that we can better manage and facilitate those bright spots in cases where it's not feasible to restore the coral that's been lost.
Coming up next on FSU Headlines, Art Goes Digital in a new exhibition from Florida State University's Museum of Fine Arts. We'll show you new landscapes when FSU Headlines continues in a moment. Welcome back to FSU Headlines. I'm Dennis Schnitker. 6 Florida State University assistant professors recently received the Florida Education Fund's Mcknight Junior Faculty Fellowship. This is Florida State's largest cohort of Mcknight Fellows to date. These fellows will receive a 1-year sabbatical to engage in research and training projects that explore such topics such as racial equality in mixed income communities, black women in computing, community policing relations, and more. The Mcknight Junior Faculty Fellowship Program promotes excellence in teaching and research by underrepresented minorities and women. The goal is to advance faculty diversity within Florida colleges and universities. Florida State University alumna and middle school teacher Krista Stanley has ensured that her students have what they need to be successful. Stanley's tireless teaching efforts have earned her the 2021 Florida Teacher of the Year Award. The Okeechobee County middle school teacher was recognized by Governor Ron DeSantis during a recent virtual ceremony.
Today, I'm thrilled to congratulate Krista Stanley, the 2021 Florida Teacher of the Year, who was chosen from over 170,000 Florida educators. Krista is a 6th grade teacher at Yearling Middle School in Okeechobee County. In only 4 years of teaching, she has quickly risen to the challenge and is an inspiration and role model not only to her students, but to her fellow educational leaders. Krista, thank you for your dedication to your craft and to Florida students.
Stanley will receive a $20,000 check from the Florida Department of Education and a 2-year Florida College scholarship to present to a student of her choice. Congratulations. The National Strength and Conditioning Association has selected Florida State University professor Michael Ormsby for its Top Sports Scientist Award. Ormsby is recognized for his many contributions to the field, from helping athletes perform at their highest levels to preventing obesity-related diseases.
This particular award is a one-time award, and you can't win it again. So it's really a track record of time, and you need to have been working in this field for quite a while to just amass enough work for someone to recognize it for this award. So it's great. I mean, it just shows again, like my staff and my students at the ISSM are phenomenal, and they've been on the cutting edge of this stuff for a long, long time.
Professor Ormsby will receive special recognition at the 2021 annual NSCA National Conference, which is scheduled for next July in Orlando. Florida State University art history professor Michael Carrasco has spent his academic career studying ancient indigenous cultures across the Americas and how those cultures have influenced society today. Now he's going to continue that work with the support of a nearly $250,000 grant from the National Endowment for the Humanities. The funding will allow Carrasco to explore several writing systems that emerged in early Mesoamerica and to establish a digital repository for this material.
One of the things we have to do in our work is to look at the art of the period and try to understand how that art was modified to be used in this new writing system, or this innovative writing system. So that becomes quite technical in some ways, but the basic question that we have is, how did writing come about?
Exploring the rich cultural contributions of the Mesoamerican peoples, Carrasco's research poses fundamental questions about the origins of writing itself and what these innovations meant for humankind.
It's one of those things that make us human. And so understanding those systems like writing or like language help us better understand how we became who we are.
Florida State University's College of Motion Picture Arts has again been ranked among the nation's top 20 film schools by one of the entertainment industry's top publications. The film school's emphasis on experiential learning and its fast-growing list of notable alumni have helped propel its rising reputation in the industry. For the past 9 years, The Hollywood Reporter has ranked FSU as a top U.S. film school. Each year, the magazine ranks the nation's best film schools on measures of success, such as their reputation among film professionals, the quality of faculty, facilities, and filmmaking equipment, as well as the achievements of their graduates. FSU was also recognized for its New Diverse Voices in Cinema grant, which was established this year to support underrepresented film school alumni who seek to overcome injustice through cinematic storytelling. Staying with the film school, several alumni have been nominated for Emmy Awards this year. The nominees represent a spectrum of roles and genres in primetime television. Among those nominated are James Cicciarello for Outstanding Picture Editing in the long-running CBS reality series Survivor, Shaughnessy Hare for Outstanding Sound Editing, and Octavia Robertson for outstanding visual effects in HBO's hit sci-fi series Westworld, and Armando Silas for outstanding cinematography in the Netflix original series Ozark. The winners will be announced during the 72nd Primetime Emmy Awards. Good luck to our FSU alumni. Florida State University's Museum of Fine Arts recently debuted its first exhibit of the coronavirus era, New Landscapes. The new virtual exhibit features more than 30 artworks on loan from selected artists and from the museum's permanent collection.
We thought that New Landscapes would be an opportunity to test our ability to develop and deploy a virtual exhibition that used the same content that we'd already intended to focus on in the summer, but presenting it in a new way.
Virtual curating presented a range of new and different challenges for MOFA. Museum curators worked alongside graphic designers and programmers to fashion a gallery out of code and dozens of digital images. The result was an exhibition that both challenges and inspires.
And I think that that's something that this show does really well, is it takes something that you might not expect to hold so much, and then it lets you explore it and find meaning within it. And I think that that's just one of the best ways that, you know, we can explore and learn about art, but also ourselves and our society.
The exhibition is accompanied by a range of public programs, including virtual tours, live streaming artist interviews, and Make It at MOFA events, in which guests can be featured in a web gallery. Well, that's going to do it for this September edition of FSU Headlines. Remember, you can always keep up with FSU on news.fsu.edu. It's there you'll find articles, video, and radio stories all about Florida State University. For everyone here at Florida State, I'm Dennis Schnitker. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy. We'll see you next time.